So we've just had the latest spoilers revealed for chapter 1165 of One Piece, and this is coming off of the last chapter titled Davy's Blood, where we had seen an incredibly emotional moment during the God Valley flashback. Rox was resisting Imu's demonic corruption, and it even dropped a world-shattering revelation stating that Davy D. Jones was the previous king of the world. He dropped hints of a major conflict in the past between Davy's bloodline and Imu's rule. When Imu threatens the giants of Elbaf, Rox's rage triggers his full transformation into a winged demon. As Domirovers, he makes him turn against his own crew as he effortlessly crushes Kaido and Big Mom. Whitebeard had even stood his ground as he splits God Valley's mountain with a single clash, and we learn how Eris and Teach were saved by a young Kuma. The final moments of chapter 1164 saw Rox beg Roger and Garp telepathically to end his life, forcing them into a tragic mercy kill situation, which the world government had later twisted into propaganda. This now brings us to the spoilers of chapter 1165. This chapter is titled Reverberations. So the cover page of the chapter sees Law and Beppo using Zeus as a sleeping pillow. The chapter begins with Shiki declaring that this is the end of the Rocks Pirates, as we see the remaining members of the Rocks Pirates with Ganzui, who are still alive, going their separate ways. Roger and Garp tell their crew and soldiers that they will come back. Then they join forces to face off against Rox in an epic battle that spans several pages. Kaido and Big Mom are also shown to be talking as she tells him that he has a lifetime debt to her, as they then part ways. We then cut to Whitebeard, who meets a man named Polo Graham, who seems to be Marco's father. He's a fan of Whitebeard and asks him to join forces with him. We cut back to God Valley as Imu gives the order to destroy and erase everything on God Valley. Rox's Conqueror's Haki is incredibly strong, so Garp and Roger decide to unleash all of their Haki in one final combined attack against him. Chapter 1165 ends with Garp and Roger launching their attacks on Rox in an epic panel. Garp's move resembles Luffy's elephant Gatling, while Roger channels his Haki throughout his sword. Now we reach the final spoiler for the chapter. They ultimately defeat Rox as the dark, evil energy seeps out of his body. Unfortunately, there is a break next week, but this pretty much brings us to the end of the God Valley Incident Flashback. The reactions to this have been incredibly emotional. They ultimately defeat Rox as the dark, evil energy seeps out of his body. This commenter says, "We knew this was coming, but damn, it's so sad to see him go. He was possibly one of the greatest pirates that One Piece has ever seen." Yeah, Oda properly introduced Rox about 1,000 chapters into the story, and he instantly rocketed to many people's favorite character overnight. Rest in peace to Captain Rox, you were born too early. Some people are commenting on how Domirovesi Rox was defeated within one chapter. There's also a lot of comments on Marco's father being called Polo. Additional details are coming out as Rox's Conqueror's Haki is capable of negating enemy attacks. Roger and Garp can barely harm Rox as their Haki cannot bypass Rox's. In the end, they unleash all of their Haki into a single attack, knowing full well that if it fails, they will die against Rox. It's been incredible spending all of this time with Rox, where he was first introduced as this incredible pirate, where he was falling for Shaki, and then where he pleads with Roger and Garp to end his life. It truly was an emotional journey. Yeah, it took two legends, Roger and Garp, to combine their Haki and their best attacks to defeat Rox. This is how strong and legendary that he was. People are also handing out apology forms for Roger, since he and Garp did pull through and defeat Rox. People have started to put respect back onto the Pirate King's name. Some of the key takeaways from this chapter are that Kaido and Big Mom's debt still prevails, Marco's dad joins forces with Whitebeard, Imu orders Rox to erase God Valley from existence, and we see Rox defeated. People are also handing out apology forms for Garp, apologizing for things for mistakenly assuming that because Garp was a Marine, he supported slavery and the Celestial Dragons, and that hereby they will respect the hero of the Marines, Garp the Fist, and they will not talk down on the Monkey D name any longer. It is really going to be interesting to see the full fight, which does span several pages, between Roger, Garp, and Rox. Yeah, it's fascinating how a character who was introduced in 2019 as somebody who represents evil had us feeling all of these emotions happens just 6 years later. Again, there are people saying that Rox got one-shotted by Garp and Roger, but again, there is a lengthy battle that we are going to see that spans several pages in this chapter. Some people are saying that Oda rushed the God Valley flashback, and there are rumors of Toei possibly making a movie on all of these God Valley chapters. So Oda was trying to finish it in time so Toei could possibly have this movie released. But again, all of that is fan speculation. If there is a movie, I do expect them to expand upon a lot of the moments that we've seen within the manga, where we'll get a lot of fights that were not revealed by Oda. So people are commenting on how Rox's Conqueror's Haki is able to nullify other Haki, with this commenter saying, so his Haki literally nullifies other Hakis, that's god tier even for Rox. Well, Haki attacks, you can't hurt Rox unless you pose a greater Haki than him. Yeah, and this appears to be what had defeated Rox. Roger and Garp had combined all of their Haki in an attack that had surpassed the broken abilities of Rox. So in a way, they were able to bypass the negation of Rox's Conqueror's Haki. Yeah, people are saying that this explains how the Holy Knights were able to regenerate their bodies. Luffy and the others have to surpass the Conqueror's Haki of Imu, which is probably protecting the Holy Knights. What's interesting is that chapter 1165 proves that Roger and Garp are on a very different level. But what's even crazier is that they both needed to go all out just to put down Rox, who's controlled by Imu. Just how strong is Imu in actuality? With this chapter, I guess it is time for us all to say goodbye to the Rox pirates, as they all went their separate ways here, with Shiki declaring that it's the end of the Rox pirates, with the rest of the members of the Rox pirates like Ganzui still alive going their separate ways, Kaido and Big Mom speaking of the life debt that Kaido owes to her as they both part ways, Whitebeard meeting a man named Polo, which is Marco's father, as they join forces and leave, and the captain of the Rox pirates ultimately being defeated by Roger and Garp. I mean, what do you guys think about Roger and Garp versus Rox being only one chapter of fighting? I do hope that we get some solid pages of fighting within this chapter, and that they have enough screen time in relation to everybody leaving God Valley and the final moments of the flashback which wrap up the incident. People are also talking about Garp's move that he uses against Rox, as it resembles Luffy's elephant Gatling, and it does seem like these two have the same fighting style, as you can see in this example here. People are also commenting on just how useless Garling was during the God Valley flashback. He literally did nothing throughout the entirety of it. He's probably as useful as this cat here. People are also talking about how Garp and Roger's combined attack is a recreation of Luffy and Zoro's combined attack during Enies Lobby. People are also drawing parallels between Rox and Zoro, in particular during Rox's fight against King, where he was using a new level of Haki to make Haki barriers similar to Rox. So you can see here, Zoro used advanced Conqueror's Haki without knowing that he has Conqueror's Haki. This line of Roger channeling his Haki through his sword has given people a lot of confidence about Mihawk and how he could perform similar feats by channeling all of his Haki through his sword too. The next chapter of One Piece, unfortunately, will be released after a break next week. I do wonder if we're going to see any more of the God Valley flashback, like the aftermath following the events, how Roger and Garp go their separate ways, if there's a final farewell to Rox, or if we're just going to cut to the present time where Loki is telling the story. Now, do let me know all of your thoughts about the latest spoilers for chapter 1165 of One Piece. If there's anything that I've forgotten to mention, then let me know by continuing the discussion in the comments. And lastly, thanks for making it to the end of this one, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. A massive thank you goes out to all of my amazing Patreon supporters for helping to make this video possible. If you also want to support the channel and see your name in the end of my videos, then check out my Patreon, which has loads of perks like early video access and so much more. Thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.